I'm going to walk you through how to install this base on the Ikea Kallax bookshelf system. These are super easy to install, but first and foremost, it is important. These are intended to be installed on the Kallax in this orientation only, the horizontal orientation, or more specifically, the side panel of the Kallax goes top to bottom, and you see the exposed screws on the side. It will not work the same if you stand these up vertically. So horizontal position only. This is the white oak version, but I do also have walnut and mahogany available as well. So let's get started. Okay, I've got my Kallax flipped upside down. I've got one base piece ready to install. All we have to do is drill 3 holes and insert 3 screws. I have a 3/32 drill bit chucked up in my drill. That's the size of bit I'm going to recommend for you. And the one tip I'm going to give you is, instead of trying to drill directly in the center of each hole, what I want you to do is I want you to cheat towards that side of the hole, cheat towards the rear. So I'm going to let my drill bit almost ride the back side of that hole. And what that's going to do for us is that when this screw goes in, it's literally going to be sucking this base piece against the Kallax. That way we get a nice tight fit here at the wraparound portion. So let's do that now. And with the included bit chucked up in my drill, I'm going to drive those screws in. Now keep in mind you're screwing into a particle board strip at the bottom of this panel. So don't over tighten this. Don't really torque it down. Just get it snug, then just slow down, make sure everything's attached nicely. That's all you need. And you'll see we got a nice snug fit up here at the wraparound portion. We're just going to repeat the same thing on the other end, and we're ready to flip this thing over. Okay, I have both base pieces installed. I have my Kallax flipped back over, and the only thing left to do is to determine whether or not we want to put a center support underneath this particular Kallax. So my particular Kallax is 4 cubes wide. I actually use mine as a packaging station to ship out my online orders, so it takes a bit of abuse. I've always just kept one center support directly under the center partition panel. And what makes this new kit so easy to install is when it comes to these center supports. Instead of having a leg that we have to screw on to the bottom panel, which is a little tricky, instead we've gone to these freestanding center supports. So we can take our center support and we can simply slide it in anywhere we like underneath the Kallax. Now I would push that more back towards the center of the panel, but you get the idea. Now that fit nice and snug, and the reason is I'm making these just a little bit taller than the base pieces, because if you'll notice on your Kallax, both top and bottom, the panels don't install flush with one another. So that center support piece is going to have to be a little bit taller just to be the same height as your base pieces. So I've made up that height a little bit with your center support. However, you're going to run into scenarios where your floor is not perfectly flat, and so your support may not slide in and be snug like that. That's not a problem. I'm including with your center support legs a couple different sizes or thicknesses of felt pads. And so if you have a little bit of a dip in the middle where your center support is going to sit, choose a thickness of felt pad. They're peel and stick. Stick them on to the leg, top, bottom, it doesn't matter. Slide it in and get a nice snug fit. In the scenario where you have a hump in your floor in the center, well, then your support leg's not going to slide under at all. It's going to be too tall. But that's no problem either. You'll just choose one of the sizes of felt pads, and you'll just put them underneath the legs on one end of your Kallax just to raise it up a little bit and let that center support slide in. Either way, super easy to install. And that's really it. 3 screws on each end, slide in your center support, and your Kallax is ready to use.